Sarawak is rich in culture, heritage, and beauty. Its people have lived off the land for many generations. From weaponry to rhymes, pottery, martial arts, fishery practices, and food preservation, our daily practices in Sarawak have always been part of Sarawakian culture and tradition, regardless of race, ethnicity, and belief. These are some of the things that bind us. Do you know about any of the traditional weapons used by the people of Sarawak? Weapons in Sarawak are often associated with ferocious headhunters and gruesome tribal wars. Nowadays, these weapons are used to initiate traditional ceremonies and as a gift at traditional wedding ceremonies. One of the essential materials in weapon making is iron. A notable discovery recorded about 40,000 tons of iron slag at Santubong between the 11th to 13th century AD, proving that it was once an important center of traders and iron mining in the region. Each ethnicity has different methods and skills in making weapons. For instance, bukwok was made by the Bidayu tribes. Bidayu, known as the Land Dayak, originated from the western part of Borneo. Their ancestral home is located at Jagoy Bratak before migrating from Mount Sungkong to West Kalimantan, which was 700 years ago. Bukwok is a machete that is commonly used among the Bidayu tribes. The unique characteristics of the bukwok is the noticeable bend at an obtuse angle located at 1/3 of its length, starting from the pommel. It is a single-edged blade, which is heavier and wider towards the point of the blade.
Saya rasa sama juga, tapi memang Bidayu punya parang pun lain juga bentuk dia. Iban punya pun lain juga. Iban dia punya ada lirang. Bidayu tidak ada, dia cuma macam ini saja, ada bengkok dia. Sebab ini memang bentuk parang Bidayu. Dia buat style dia macam ini. Sebab dia memang sejak dulu lah dia buat memang macam ini dia buat. Tidak ada lain beja dia. Cuma dia buat macam ini saja. Orang. Sebab ini dia punya style. Memang ada dia punya ini dia buat. Dan ada bengkok ini.
Bukwok can be categorized into different types and functions that are suitable for everyday use.
Kalau bahasa kami, bukok rebak yang guna untuk potong kayu yang besar. Bukok tekin untuk potong kayu yang sedang-sedang lah. Bukok tahu untuk pakai tebas rumput. Bukok angok pakai potong rumput seperti itu. Dan yang kami cakap itu sindak. Sindak itu pakai potong sayur. Pisau. Itu jenis parang yang saya boleh buat lah.
When making buko in the olden days, taboos needed to be followed to ensure the good quality of the product.
Ada juga orang tua-tua dulu. Ada. Perempuan tidak boleh masuk bengkel tempat orang buat parang tu. Sebab dia cakap patah. Parang dia patah. Ataupun dia punya muka ini kalau dia buat dia punya sempuh macam dia boleh apa kita cakap patah sikit dia punya muka dia. Kadang-kadang dia patah habis. Orang tua dulu lah, tapi sekarang tidak ada pantang lagi.
Aside from buko, other unique weapons such as terabai are made by the Iban. Terabai, known as shields, are essential on the battlefield.
Terabai is an Iban term for shield. So terabai itself usually is carved from a single soft wood. The standard size is about 4 to 4.5 feet length, and it comes in a hexagonal shape and tapered to a sharp end at each point. And it is also usually have a hand grip on the interior of the terabai itself. And if you notice for shield, some of it is sewn with rattan. This is to prevent the enemy's parang to split it through.
However, the essential part of the terabai is the significant meaning behind the carving motifs on the shield. The design of the motifs is related to the social status of the people, living or dead, for whom the terabai are carved.
Kayan Kenya shield in the museum collection usually has an image of a face like drawn on it. So that shield usually will be decorated with a face with large eyes, 2 rows of teeth, a fang, and a tusk. And then for the Kayan and Kenya shield that we have in collection, it usually is decorated with hair. Now this hair is attached to the shield with resin itself. And on the inner of the shield, it is also heavily decorated with pattern. Some of it has scroll pattern or a human-like pattern, probably a male and a female. While for the Iban and Birayu, the shield is also made of softwood itself, but there are some of the shield that is made of tree bark or pleated with rattan. And the shape of the shield, some of it is rounder at one end, and another end is either pointed or flat.
It is believed that the rare and intricate designs of the motifs can weaken the enemy's spirit. The designs are chosen by the warrior's deity and act as an amulet to protect them on the battlefield.
From what I have read before, for the Iban themselves, prior to making a shield, they will sort for a type of ombak, which is called kelabu papau. So in the Iban mythology, kelabu papau is one of the son-in-law of Senggalang Burong, which people say, or we say, god of war for the Iban community.
Gone are the days of tribal wars. The terabai are commonly used as decorative items or as part of props for traditional dance. Weapons were tools used to defend from threats of the enemies when ngayao practice was active in those days.
In the past, I think no man traveled far from home without 3 items: their shield, sword, and spear. So for me, in that sense, shield itself symbolizes masculinity. It is a war instrument. That is something that we cannot deny, and it's also act to defense and protect the man that is behind the shield itself. Another significance of Trabai is, if you've seen in a museum archival photos, or if you read older books, it's always stated that when a prominent figure, which is usually a chief, pass away, his belonging will be placed at the tomb, and one of it will be his shield. For the Bidayu, the priestess itself, they have a smaller shield. This small shield is usually decorated with beads and also brass bells, and is used in healing ritual.
Although fighting weapons may no longer be used today, the unique crafting of the weapons is still preserved by our community.
Anak muda-mudi, supaya dia, kita galakkan dia belajar supaya tu tidak pupus. Saya nasihat supaya dia pandai buat tu barang untuk kegunaan sendirilah, untuk kegunaan pakai dia, mencari rezeki.
As I was saying earlier, the elder generation should get the younger generations involved more in the cultural or traditions that is still around these days, because I feel if you do not learn from the elder as well, you wouldn't know about your own roots. So it takes both different age groups to preserve the culture itself. Culture change through times, and it expands. It's also might fade through times if there's no continuous learning or continuous knowledge that is passed on. It could be a very simple thing, simple but meaningful gesture. I felt is a way to let the youngest know about their roots.
Regardless of ethnic groups, each of us is keen to learn about the history of weapons in Sarawak. And these are the things that bind us.